On October the 2nd, Jamal Khashoggi was last seen entering the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. His fiancée waiting outside alerted authorities when he didn't return. CCTV footage later showed that a car convoy arrived at the consulate before the journalist. 2 hours after he entered the building, the convoy drove to the Consul General's residence, some 200 meters away. 5 days later, Turkish authorities told Reuters they'd identified a Saudi team that arrived in Istanbul on the night before Khashoggi disappeared. October the 11th, the Washington Post revealed the Turks had key evidence. Officials in Istanbul said they found recordings proving Khashoggi had been killed. The next day, Saudi authorities rejected what they called baseless accusations. But under pressure, they eventually granted access to the consulate. And on October the 15th, forensic experts searched the building at last.
The investigation is looking into many things, such as toxic materials found in the consulate and those materials being painted over.
Meanwhile, in Istanbul, investigators searched the consul's residence for the first time. The Turkish press revealed gruesome details from the audio recording and reported the Consul General's voice was identified on the tape. Authorities then began searching this forest, where they say Khashoggi's remains may have been taken. They also questioned 15 Turkish employees of the Saudi consulate. Hours later, the announcement came from Riyadh via state media, admitting that Jamal Khashoggi had died in the consulate, but claiming that the journalist was killed in a fistfight with people he met there, and that a number of Saudis were being held as suspects. On October the 21st, the Saudi foreign minister gave an interview to Fox News, acknowledging that Khashoggi was murdered.
We are determined to uncover every stone. There obviously was a tremendous mistake made.
Saudi authorities then admitted it had been a rogue operation conducted by elements outside the Crown Prince's control, ultimately detaining 18 unnamed suspects in connection with the murder and indicting 11. It would take over a year of wrangling and a UN report that laid the blame for Khashoggi's murder on the Saudi state before a Riyadh court passed judgment. It sentenced 5 people to death and 3 more to a total of 24 years in prison. That wasn't enough for Turkey, which accused Riyadh of obstructing its investigation and has moved ahead with its own trial in absentia of 20 Saudi officials.